And this month in tech history.
What do we got?
So something that really caught my eye, I'm just going to jump right into it.
Uh-oh.
From last week, March 9th.
March 9th.
The quote, "I invented the internet" by Al Gore.
Do you remember Al Gore?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially in the 1999, 2000 era. He was pretty in the news, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says that he created the internet.
But he's being misquoted though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of sad that people misquote, or misconstrue what he said. Essentially, it wasn't that he created the internet. He was the first politician that had significant how did they put it? He was one that kind of like opened the floodgates, because the internet was originally like school, university, and government type of operation. And what he wanted to do, he said, like, you know what, the government should stay out of this, and we should just open this up into, like a public domain, and just let it be, let it grow, instead of having it controlled by the government. So he was a big participant in evolving the internet, I would say. If it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have the internet that we have today. And they assigned these organizations to take care of different parts of the internet, and they all work together. But even the guys that created like DNS, the guys that created TCP/IP, the whole domain registration, even all those people just kind of like, they admit it's like there is no one person that can take credit for the internet. But Al Gore definitely opened up the gates and unleashed them from government control to be able to make the internet what it is today. I read the article. I thought it was kind of interesting. So it was pretty cool.
We have in March 11th, the NFL adopts instant replay for the first time.
Yeah, that was a big deal, because
like on TV, you could instantly replay what happened.
Yeah, I mean, they put some rules around it. They
really?
put some rules around it. Yeah. So imagine every play is challenged. It's like you wouldn't be able to finish a game in a 24-hour period, So they said, okay, hey, true, if you want to challenge a play and your challenge is valid, in other words, you claim that, like, say, for example, somebody like throws the ball, but they kind of fumble it as they're catching it, and the ball hits the ground, but then it looks like he caught it at the very end, right? And you want to challenge that. It's like, that ball hit the ground before he caught it. And if in fact, that is true, then you would win the challenge, and, there wouldn't be any penalties against you. But if you challenged it and it turned out that the guy kept, maybe his hand was under the ball as it hit the ground, and then he just cupped it in and caught it, that's a valid catch, And if that was the case, you would lose the ability to challenge. I think you were allowed 3 or 4 challenges per quarter or per game. I forget exactly what it is, or maybe per half. And if you lost a challenge, you lose a timeout. And if it was a penalty involved, then you would also face the penalty along with that. And so they put some rules around it, so that just in case you wanted to be a challenging type of person, otherwise, because some of these challenges take like 5 minutes to review, so you're holding up the game for 5 minutes at a time.
All right. Yeah. And next in history, we have on March 12th, the first proposal for a World Wide Web.
Yeah, the first proposal. Tim Berners-Lee submits a proposal to CERN to develop a new way of linking and sharing information over the internet. It's like it looks like a diagram that he wrote on a napkin here. I think this was the communication aspect of like how you share information. But yeah, Tim Berners-Lee, I think he also created HTML, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go search for this guy. Tim Berners-Lee. Let's look at him. English computer scientist, known as the inventor of the World Wide Web. Another inventor. This guy, he drove the. Okay, he created the HTTP protocol.
All right. So next in history, we have Microsoft goes public.
That's right. Today.
On March 13th.
Yep.
Oh, that was yesterday. Whoa, look at that. That's an old picture of Bill Gates right there.
Let's see. Let's share the screen again. Oh man, that's a young Bill Gates, huh? I read a book. I read a book. Oh, what is it called? It was called Outliers. It's called by Malcolm Gladwell.
What's it about?
And this book, it actually talks about how did Bill Gates get to where he's at? How did who's the other guy from Sun Microsystems? I think his name is I forget his name. Steve Jobs from Apple. And like he's talking about like how all these people. He also talks about the Beatles, and so this book Outlier takes these people and removes them from the common equation. So like say, for example, if you have 10 people that are born like at the same, let's just say they're born on the same day, they go through the same elementary, the same junior, middle school, same high school, they go to the same university, they study the same subject. And chances are that all those people are going to end up with the same career. But there's always going to be an outlier. There's always going to be that one person who did something different. Even though they followed the same curriculum, this one person did something different that helped him or her excel beyond the other 9. And so you look at Steve Jobs. Oh man, what is this guy from Sun Microsystem? With Scott McNealy. Scott McNealy. So Scott McNealy, Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates, they're all born within, I think, 2 years of each other. Scott McNealy being the youngest, I think he's the youngest. So he was born like, the latest of the 2 years or 3 year, 3 year span. But what's significant about them is that they all were born and had turned 14 or 15 right when computers and programming was just ramping up. Okay, so these guys were like hooked to their computers. They would spend 10 hours a day just programming and trying to do stuff with the computer. And they're like set apart because they're outliers, because not everybody had 10 hours a day to go spend on a computer. And these guys did. So by the time they came of age to like get a job, start a business, these guys were like miles ahead of everybody else that just took a basic curriculum. You know what I mean?
And last but not least, for our March history, we have Bell Labs announces Tradic, which is I'm guessing it's some kind of computer.
Yeah. So this right here, I'll share my screen really quick. This right here, they went, so a computer used to be the size of a house and it was a bunch of vacuum tubes. And so AT&T announced transistorized computer. So they didn't have vacuum tubes anymore. They actually had transistorized computers and stuff. So they called it TRADIC because it was transistor digital computer. So they took the TRA, DI, and then C for computer. But you missed one, Jonathan.
Oh, which one?
IBM introduces the PC XT.
Oh, yeah, the first one.
This is the computer that you operate today. This
Oh,
is where it stemmed from. Look at that big old monitor.
man.
That's crazy stuff right there.
Yeah, but that's what we have in history this